what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Welcome to the Street Circle Drive podcast here on the Mesh Podcast Network. I am your host, Andrew Moose. Joining me today on Street Circle Drive, our co-host, Mr. Michael McNally.
Good day, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing great. Street Circle Drive is your Hickory-centric podcast for people who love Hickory. And first, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do this podcast without you, and we seriously do appreciate you listening to our podcast. If you would be interested in sponsoring our podcast, your ad could go right here, couldn't it, McNally?
It could. I would even say it for a nominal charge.
Yeah, very nominal. Very nominal.
Free.
For sure. And, podcast sponsorships go to a very captive audience with folks who love to buy things. So
if you're in Hickory.
Don't you like to buy things, don't you?
Sadly, I like to buy too many things.
And you listen to podcasts.
Oh, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
And that's just the reason.
But I listen to national podcasts too, so it's even a little hard. I mean, they know the demographics, but Here we're talking about if you're a Hickory shop selling goods and services, you want to reach a Hickory-centric audience.
This is it.
We're kind of your show.
So this would be your ad right now.
Yeah,
we were talking.
I think so.
Right. So McNally, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would. Speaking of Hickory-centric, we have the new executive director for the Hickory Downtown Development Association, Miss Amy Ogle, is in the building today.
Hello,
Yes.
How are you?
Thank you for trekking all the way down here.
I even drove.
I would have too. I was about to say I would have too. I'm not even lying. But it is a little warm. I mean, it's the second or third day of fall, but
it's the second day of fall and it's 90 degrees outside.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I fear that we're going to have just like a 1 week of true fall weather, and it drives me nuts. Yeah. But with that said, we don't blame you for driving no matter what the weather is.
No matter what the weather is.
But we are glad that you are here with us today. We're glad you're at the DDA.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So when was the official start day?
I started June 10th.
So you've gone through the summer.
I've gone through the summer.
You obviously know every single thing to possibly know about downtown now.
I do.
That was after day 3, I'm sure, is what people expected. Well, tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what brought you to this position that you have right now, and then we'll talk about some of the things going on.
Sounds good. So most of my background, before I was here, I was the assistant director at CVCC of their Tarleton complex. So I was there for 7 years. And before that, I was at UNCG and their English department and Southeastern Theater Conference. So I have a large background in nonprofit and events, it's like the stage management of life, kind of. I feel like I fit into that area so many times, So that's what brought me here. I had sort of taken a break from work to stay home with my son. I have a 3.5-year-old. And so when this position came open, I saw it and I thought, fabulous, time to go back to work. And luckily enough, they hired me. So here I am.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting your 3-year-old son. He is quite precocious.
Yes.
He is something else. Yeah, we're excited to have you in the Hickory Downtown, and we're excited about all the great things that you're going to bring to our organization and our downtown. And for those of you who have not been downtown recently in the last couple weeks, our renovation is almost complete.
Almost.
Where we're staying with that?
Well, I think as far as I know, we should be done by Oktoberfest.
Right.
And like the first weekend of October, I think, was supposed to be sort of the reveal. We just had the ribbon cutting on Monday, and then they did the groundbreaking also in front of St. Andrew's Church for the City Walk.
Right. So big things happening, big things coming, faster than expected. It was McNally and I were talking at lunch about how it almost was like they flipped a switch and it was ready. It went from September 1 or whatever was the projected end date or completion date before.
We were here in August talking about there's no way.
It was But what the great part is most of that construction that we thought was left to be done was just filling in green space and setting the sod down and all that.
Yeah.
And it's tremendous. There's a new stage. There's more green space. The sails are updated. I'm trying to think of all the things. I think the only thing that's lacking of new bathrooms, of course, Cannon Hill. They're going to put the Cannon back on the hill over there by Larry's Music and Sound. So that's going to be a really, really great space for us. And the City Walk is just right around the corner. So it's coming. So besides all these great projects, Amy, what's next for downtown? What should we expect? What should our listeners expect to see?
For downtown, well, of course, we have Oktoberfest,
right?
Which is our next big event.
That
is the second weekend of October. It's October 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's burned into my brain.
Right, same.
So that should be a good time. We've got sort of a couple of different things going on. We have an artisan stage this year where you can come and see local artists demonstrate their work. Pottery, painters. That'll be kind of cool. We had done it in the past, but we're trying to bring it back this time. And then we have a bourbon tasting tent that we will also be doing, which is going to be from Saturday from 12 to 9. So 6 local distilleries will be there, very reminiscent of the June 1st event, the City Walk event.
Right, yeah.
4 will be returning, 2 new ones.
Great.
So that's a lot of fun, and that's going to be a big, huge weekend, and pretty much all that we can think about at the moment. Past that, we'll have Candy Crawl, and that's October 25th from 4 to 6, rain or shine. I think it rained last year, but
It means it's probably a good sign for this year.
It's probably a good sign for this year. Kids come whether it rains
Sure.
or not if you offer candy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're real lucky. A lot of the downtown merchants and business are very. They love participating in that event.
Definitely. So that'll be fun. There'll be a costume contest, baby pumpkins. That.
Right. I love looking at the Focus the week after that with and Tammy.
All the kids in
Tammy
there.
the Focus puts every single kid in there, and it's great to see all those kids turn out, and it's great seeing their families come and be patrons of Downtown Hickory. It's fantastic. McNally, what's your favorite part of Downtown Hickory? What is it? Tell the viewers all about it. The viewers.
Well, I mean, I really like the stuff that we've been doing. I mean, and I'll be the first to critique Downtown Hickory, especially with some of our neighbors that are focusing on downtown efforts. I think through this bond project and some other things that have gone on, we really have started to pay particular attention to downtown, which is a good thing. At first, you don't know what things are going to look like. I have not done the full walkthrough of Union Square since it's been redone and open. But what I had seen beforehand, and from what I've seen in the pictures or whatnot, I've always liked Union Square. And a lot of times, and I grew up in Raleigh, they had, Fayetteville Street with the mall. They closed it down. It has, pros and cons for that. They open it. But I do like having that kind of square focal center for an area. Having the sales there, whether that is for the farmer's market or for music. Just a gathering place where people know exactly where you're going, what's going on. There's plenty to do around there as far as, food, drinks, shopping. Having that focus is awesome. And then also, I mean, I do like the old character of the rail station,
Sure.
All that still centered in that small town.
Right. And I've had more than one person tell me that when they were downtown the last 2 weeks since it's been open, it's the most they've seen downtown in years. The farmers market was so well attended last Saturday. The sales events the last 3 weeks have been just off the charts. The music was great, number one, but the number of people that are coming out and supporting. And I think some of the merchants that might have had a hard time with the construction, the time when they were constructing the new downtown, I think they're going to catch a huge bump here in the next couple of months to really make up for that.
And I'll say this, and your group, Amy, and City did a really good job of saying, okay, obviously this is going to, curtail, make a difference during those summer months for our merchants. But I thought that the signage was great. The events were still going on, but they might be altered or moved a little bit. And I think, the hard hat series. I mean, just these little tweaks in marketing and promoting. I think everybody did a great job. Talk a little bit about, from what you're hearing and seeing from both merchants and or just patrons, how has that transition through the summer been, and what's kind of the response you're hearing now that it's basically done?
It's basically done. It's interesting, and we did. Thank you. We've done quite a bit. We've invested in some flags that you can see downtown that sort of went with the marketing scheme of the well-crafted construction, so that we wanted everybody to sort of be together and unified, and we're open, and you can do it however you want. Some people are doing it open for business. Some people are doing it, we're open during construction. But it's seemed to go over very well. And I hope they continue to fly them afterwards as well. The response that I've gotten from the downtown merchants, it's been varied. I think most people were ready for a change. I don't think people are ever ready for the inconvenience that construction brings. But I think almost everyone that I've talked to had the foresight to see that you have to have some kind of inconvenience to have something new and to bring more people down here, because that's what we wanted. I mean, that's in the end, that's what you want, people in your door. They want people in your shops. Some people had a boost over the summer because of the way the fencing was. You had to walk by the storefronts.
Oh,
so
great.
you went in.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's great to hear, because we've had I've heard it's just like anything else. When you'll have growing pains, and when things aren't exactly going your way, you're going to try to find other things to blame and this, that, and everything. I think a lot of the merchants and businesses really did a good job on their own promoting as well, and that's what really I think set those guys apart too from the ones that really were able to thrive during that time.
Yeah, there were stores, Artisan Soapery. They had like a selfie station where you could go in and do all of the different construction hats and selfie stations, and there was a lot of that. Getting behind it,
Powerful
and I think
Katie
that's
Friedel
wonderful.
right there.
Yeah,
She's good at that. We've been proponents of Downtown Hickory forever at the Mesh and Jackson Creative proper, and it's so good to see that folks that might have been naysayers are starting to come around and say, hey, this was a good idea. This is going to do nothing but be positive for our community, and I'm interested to see how the rest of the projects are going to really affect downtown and in Hickory in general.
There have been a couple of big announcements recently with dwellings, which has always been a conversation around downtown. And it is a little bit of chicken or the egg. Do you have people that live downtown and then come amenities, or do you have amenities which then draw people to want to live downtown?
Yeah.
And it's easy, and I think I might have said this before. I was in Charlotte before that really kind of took off, and that was a discussion. You think, oh, Charlotte's a big city. They've always had. No, they didn't. I mean, it was a ghost town after 5. Now, it's a little different for them because if somebody announces an apartment project, you're looking at 2 years because it takes a while to go up 30, 40 floors. So then you can schedule and plan for that growth. What are some things that, we all have ideas. What would we like to see downtown? What are some things that you would love to see help to complement and build upon what's going on downtown?
And if I could, just before we go on, tell our listeners a little bit about those 2 projects. Yeah, the 2 projects that we just referenced there.
Okay, well, either one of us. Yeah, the 2 projects that were announced, we had, and I might get the numbers wrong, but there's one somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 units for targeting the 55 and older crowd. So that is going to be what I say across from CCM, across
like
Caddy Corner to Mr. Tire in that vacant lot. I don't remember the target dates for completion on that, but that will be needed. We always talk about affordable housing for folks that might be downsizing, right-sizing, whatever you want to say, in that sort of environment. So most of them, I think, are going to be 1 and 2 bedroom units. So that'll be a great project. Then a larger, with potential for more growth down the road, is a project that's going to take place in the current, what I call the City Hall parking lot.
Right,
so it's the parking lot across from City Hall, behind your PNC Bank, that strip on
right.
Second.
Randolph's. Randolph's Billiards.
Randolph's Billiards, exactly.
There, yeah.
So that open parking lot, having below ground parking deck, that is another apartment complex that's going to have mostly one and maybe some studio, but 1 and 2 bedroom, a couple of 3 bedroom apartments. That one is not age demographic specific, but it will be nice downtown new apartment living. And that one I think is going to have a courtyard. Yeah, it's going to have mixed use in the front.
Merchants down below,
and merchants
parking.
below, and then
it's like a Birkdale type. I hate to even use that, but that's
and even on the back side of that, there whether there are options available for the company or just down the road to build similar on the back. I mean, they're hedging their bets like anybody, but to see, okay, how does this take off? Well, do we add more dwelling units on the back side of that? Those two huge, I mean, what we've wanted when the bonds were passed almost 5 years ago was, okay, just like everything else, you put government money and hope that private money, quintuples that amount and follows and builds upon itself. So this is kind of a little bit of the proof in the pudding. I know there's been, in some people's minds, stagnation. A lot of that's good because the city's been able to turn that $40 million bond to $90 million with grants and other funds.
Yeah.
So we will see way more than was initially proposed. But at the same time, we just had, like Amy said, we just had the groundbreaking for the City Walk. Mm-hmm. Before that groundbreaking, we had these 2 large announcements for living. So I go back to my chicken and the egg. Okay, well, now living's coming. So what's that going to do for A, more living units, and then B, those amenities that follow, be it services, storefronts,
right, all the things
restaurants,
that
whatever
naturally follow.
That naturally follow when you've got that captive audience of people living somewhere easily accessible through walking or whatnot. So what are some of those other things that you like to see in your mind? And of course, we're giving you, like Moose will love to say, Moose has this magic wand.
It's great.
And I have some too, but what are some
one.
things that you would love to see come in and kind of help to complement what's already here and what you see from these announcements that's coming?
I think especially from the announcements that are coming regarding the residents. I mean, you can't. That's the hot thing right now. You have to have people live downtown.
Right.
That's the thing. You got to have people live downtown, and you have to make it. Kind of trendy, and it's got to be a little upscale, and it's got, it has to appeal. Now, it has to appeal across the board, but I've seen smaller downtowns that have fabulous, condos and rental units in them, and they're thriving. They're booked before they're sold before they're open.
Right.
But you have to have a variety of places to eat. And we do. We have a great amount of places down here. I'd love to see a little bit more variety when it comes to just sort of the, it'd be great to have a Vietnamese place or a sushi place or an Indian place.
I've talked about an Indian place for a long time. I'd be there every week.
How long have you said you've driven distance to go to Indian restaurants?
I just love it.
Yeah, well, and I lived in Greensboro for a long time, and so you had the Indian places next to the Thai restaurants, next to the Vietnamese, next to the Lebanese. So that, I think, is something that people don't think about, but they really do want, because we want that variety of food. Yep. We want cocktails. We want martinis. We want, we want a nightlife that, engages us. Yeah. Along with that, on the other end too, I think that you're looking at things like you've got to have some kind of, I would love to see not a grocery store, but like a 5-aisle catch-all kind of store, I
had this conversation. He knows I'm jumping in on this.
It used to be once upon a time, because I'm from here, and once upon a time we had King's Drugs downtown, and we had all these different things, and you could go and get a soda and a bag of chips and your pharmacy and all those things, and I miss some of that stuff too.
McNally, this is a perfect time for you to introduce to the right people your ideas.
Well, and
go right ahead.
Conversations, a road trip, or whatever. So I worked in another community. I was here for a while, chamber, EDC, other sort of roles. Went to Spartanburg, South Carolina for a brief amount of time. Realized Hickory is where I belong.
Booyah.
But I had a co-op grocery store. It's South Carolina's first co-op grocery store. And same thing, hard getting people to live downtown Spartanburg. Had some buildings that could have been upgraded, weren't, sitting around for a long time. The co-op store opened, this long-standing building they didn't know what to do with. All of a sudden, somebody bought it, and now it's apartments, and it's right across the street. And the co-op grocery store was great because people were buying shares. I mean, and that's how you sell it. Like, oh, well, after we start making a profit, you get some money back. But that's not why people were buying this. They were buying it because it was important for the city and the growth, and they felt a sense of pride and ownership in that growth and potential. So they raised that, and the city agreed to match to a certain cap of what they raised. So if they hit this goal, the city was going to match it. And then there was grant funds out there. And it was a lot of larger than what you were talking about with the 5 aisle, but not, you're not going to get your, Lowe's, Publix, Harris Teeter's, you name it, to come in and get a footprint. I mean, the Harris Teeter has a very small, not even 10,000 square foot footprint in downtown Charlotte. Yeah. I mean, that was hard for them to do, and that was within the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So for us to think that's going to happen here is just not realistic. But a, 5,000 square foot co-op grocery store with the promise of these apartments coming online, and another part with the apartments and other living units coming online is not only what will come and be new, but it's also what is here that will stay open. People are talking about the hours of downtown.
You're going to have to stay open.
And now you see more light at the end of the tunnel to do such, because now you've got people that will walk by your place of business maybe at 7 o'clock at night.
Exactly. And so it's profitable to do it then.
Yeah. So I'd love to carry this conversation offline to talk about that co-op, because I agree with you. I think we have a movie theater to walk to if you're downtown. We've obviously got restaurants, more will come. We've got some nightlife, more will come.
But you need milk at 2 o'clock in the morning, or milk at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You need those things. You need,
or you might need diapers, or you might need it's Saturday and you just want to go get hamburgers, whatever it might be. It's simple
fresh
things,
fruit, bread, those kinds of things.
Especially in partnership with our farmers markets.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what you were talking about earlier. It's the chicken and the egg. If now that grocery stores know that these people are going to move, maybe they're going to take a second look at downtown, or there's some other proprietors that might say, hey, hey, listen to Street Circle Drive and listen to Mike McNally's co-op grocery store idea. Let's try that. That would be just fantastic, because there is the closest grocery store to downtown is what neighborhood, Walmart neighborhood or whatever it is.
Yeah, that or probably. I guess you go to Viewmont to Lowe's. You go either way on that one.
The closest
it's not like it's
Walmart,
a commute anywhere, but still, it'd be nice to have. So Amy, part of our podcast, we talk about events. We touched on Oktoberfest, and that's October 11th, 12th, and 13th, correct? We've got the Candy Crawl coming up, and what was the date on that again?
October 25th.
October 25th. And we're going to have some holiday events coming up. Shop Small Saturday is coming up. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, correct?
Yes.
Right. What's the downtown got planned for that?
Well, I know that the promotions committee, one of our committees that we have, is working very hard at coming up with stuff like that. Usually we pair with It's American Express for the Shop Small Saturday. Right. Paraphernalia, logos, swag, that kind of stuff to get people to come out. And a lot of people will do individual coupons and discounts for that day.
Neat. Yeah, that'll be great. I know that yours truly happens to sit on that committee, and we've been talking about doing some more regular events during the holidays. Hickory is Tinseltown, USA, for goodness sake. Per Realtor.com magazine last year or whatever, number one Christmas town in America. Yeah. We've talked about that.
You can go recap that episode if you want to get our thoughts.
Yeah,
we'll take it. At least it was a good plug.
How we got that.
I don't either.
Is it because we have our Christmas parade in October? Is that what it is?
Or it was something also like Christmas tree purchases. I mean, it was an interesting laundry list they had for... It's not what I'd say it's for, but we have the spirit, so we'll run with it.
Yeah, so when you're out there selling Downtown Hickory, you can
say we're Tinseltown.
We're Tinseltown, USA, for goodness sake.
Hey.
Realtor.com, powerfulrealtor.com.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I like having Christmas here.
Hello, this is Chris from the Foot Candle Film Podcast. Are you interested in promoting your business to an online audience? Your ad could be right here. Consider advertising on the Mesh Podcast Network. Head over to themesh.tv for details.
Well, speaking of Hickory Downtown, that's where we went to eat today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Went to the station.
Yeah, the Hickory Station.
I guess it's the Old Hickory Station.
Old Hickory Station.
Yeah, Old Hickory Station.
To go with the theme, so same proprietors of the tap room and Old Hickory Brewery and so forth.
They figured it out. They've got it going on down there.
Oh, yeah. And they're good to this community, so
sure.
it's always fun to go take place. And I've always loved when Jason and Steven and they got behind, and their folks got behind putting this together. I love how they did the building. So it is the whole train depot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome. And then splitting it in half, kind of,
right,
to really have the restaurant and bar side, and then really what I call the old school deli side.
Did you ever go to the station when it was the station, when it was a club? Are you kidding me?
I did.
Go? You did? So did I. So
I might not have been here at the time.
Right. Did you go to LR?
I did go to LR.
Okay, go Bears. Me too. So exactly, we always
I'm a
try
Bears
out.
Club member this year. For all the listeners out there that sat, have had to hear me listen to all these, between Mary Margaret, Moose, guests, go Bears, and I'll say go Bears. It is Hickory's team.
It is Hickory's team.
So I actually joined the Bears Club this year. I
Attaboy.
bragged about how it was the best value. So we joined it, and it's awesome.
How nice is that?
The pavilion?
Complex?
It's awesome.
Oh, it's so dope.
The only difference between, honestly, that pavilion, which hosts their weight room, has kind of like the Bears Club area for events, and the only difference between that and D1 is size.
Right. That's it.
It's just as
the
nice.
The atmosphere is ridiculous these days.
It's great.
It's really awesome.
If that was it, an ACC school, it would be just 3 times bigger because you've got a school that can handle that.
We just digressed something.
We totally did, but go Bears.
Yeah, absolutely, go Bears. And if you are interested in the Bears Club, you go talk to Aaron Bessie. He's the Bears Club president or director now, and associate AD. Go talk to Aaron. It's well worth the money. It's like $40 a month. You get season tickets to football, season tickets to basketball. You want to spend a little bit more, you can go park on the football field or practice field, not on stadium field. You can park on
that would be an obstacle.
Well, it depends on how much money you're going to give them. If you give them a couple hundred, they might let you park
under the scoreboard.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, go Bears. We'll talk about more about that in upcoming episodes. And we've got some stuff on the books that we're kicking around about.
You've been talking to Bessie? We need to make that happen.
Yeah, we need to make that happen.
All right.
We digress. Stay tuned.
So back to
we digressed
station.
Again. Yeah, this station. So back to what we were talking about, full circle. When Amy and I were at LR, the station was, when did you graduate from LR?
98.
98. Okay, so I came in 98. So we were right there. Half of the station was a pub. They had live music on one side. Then they had a bar in the middle, and on the other side was a dance club. Mm-hmm. And buddy, if you wanted, are you ready for this? It was like a $5 cover with nickel pitchers and penny drafts. Like, it was the best. I had way too much fun in there when I should not have been in there. Let me just put it that way. But it was a really good time.
In the years ahead, I remember when I used to get pitchers for a nickel.
Remember when I used to get
think you're lying.
But no, that's not. I'm not kidding. I mean, you could
paying $2 for a bottle of water. We were getting pitchers of beer for a nickel. Man, the good days.
You could double fist pitchers in there. It was really
for a dime.
For a dime. I mean, that was back when a lot of people did not care what kids did.
No.
Now it's a little bit more highbrow.
And you're a college kid, you barely had that dime.
Exactly. I mean, you could go out in downtown Hickory. I believe it was like, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but on Tuesday nights it was like $5 cover and penny drafts, and Wednesday it was $5 cover and nickel pitchers or something.
Yes.
Ridiculous like that. And they always had my buddies Jason Roseman and Matty McCree, Temple Terrace. They played there like every Tuesday night. It was a lot of fun and very nostalgic of that place. So when they announced that they were going to redo this place, I was pumped. And
you got your dance shoes out. You thought it was going to go back to the
Yeah,
same.
it's going to be the meat market.
2 clubs in one. Here we go. Now, fast forward to today. It's beautiful. It is not a club. It is a very high end establishment.
They have to take an extra couple buckets of scrub to it. I'm sure
you're not going to get an OHB draft beer for a penny these days around there. No. But if you've never been to the station, it's divided. There's a very nice market on one side that sells beer, wine, meats, desserts, all that good stuff. There's a counter there where you can purchase all that. Then there's a bar in the middle, and there's some where the middle bar would have been at the station, and then where the dance club would have been is more seating, and then there's an outside area, and it's well done. They spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money to get that place right, and I think they did it right.
Yeah.
I think they did it.
It's right there on the railroad tracks. They've got outdoor seating with cornhole and other things. I mean, it's a great event and a great location, great spot.
Absolutely. They changed the menu, I believe, seasonally, so you get a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, the menu today did say either fall or something along those lines. You're right.
Right. So let's talk about what we had today. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Sure. I'll go off that. So it was two of us. I think you had said, because we always talk about wings.
Right.
So you had talked about their wings beforehand.
Yeah, they're great.
So we went and got a little wing sampler. We tried the Cajun rub, and we kind of went a little rogue, and we got sriracha mango.
Sriracha mango, yeah, for sure.
And I had pimento cheese and popcorn.
Let's see, next time.
All right.
You know who to call to go get some good lunch advice, right?
That's right.
So the Cajun rub, I mean, they were good. They were cooked the way I like. You got that little bit of crunch. The flavor was good. I didn't know what to expect from the sriracha mango. The first one, you could really taste like the ginger. It definitely has that kind of Asian.
The ginger was crazy. Like,
Yeah,
I
it was
wasn't
good.
expecting that at all.
So the first bite I had, I was like, I don't know, it's not bad. But I'll tell you what, next thing I knew, I ate 3 of them. I mean, it grew on me big time. I did enjoy the wings. Were very good. Then I went and, avid listeners out there.
For those listening at home.
Yeah. I went with the Cuban because I have an affinity for Cuban sandwich. And, I like to give the people what they want and test them across the greater Hickory area.
Yeah. Cuban aficionado over here.
And a side of, because I cannot not get this as a side, the gorgonzola and bacon Brussels sprouts.
Right.
So the Cuban sandwich, I'm going to give that a strong pass for the next time I go to the station.
You can't do everything great.
You can't do everything great. It just too much bread, not enough pickle, not enough spice and flavor.
Yeah.
Dry pulled pork for the barbecue.
They missed it on that one today.
It was a miss.
Yeah.
I'm not crying.
Yeah.
I still had plenty to eat. I had wings, and I crushed those Brussels sprouts.
Man.
I'm telling you, if Mom says you need to eat your Brussels sprouts, go get them from there.
Yeah,
Because,
no doubt.
it's not the best. For you, it's bacon and gorgonzola cheese, but you're eating your Brussels sprouts, and they are
You're
awesome.
at least putting them in your body. At least you're not picking out the Brussels sprouts and eat the bacon and cheese.
I'm not going to put it past some kids and people out there, but I didn't. I'd just go for the whole thing.
I got you.
And so that was what I went with.
Yeah.
Solid tap water. It was excellent.
Right. Hickory water, man.
Yeah. Nothing but the finest.
That's right.
What you got?
Well, like you said, we split the wings. The dry rub, I really like it. I put sriracha hot sauce on it. It made it even better. The mango, sriracha mango, right?
I think it's sriracha mango.
Sriracha mango was real good. And I wasn't, like you said.
It was a unique flavor. I'd never seen that on another menu.
Obviously with sriracha, you should think Asian, but, Asian flavors. But it was more Asian flavor than sriracha sauce. And it was really good. The dry rub, standard, I get those guys a lot. For entree, I had the Roman salad. It's a grilled romaine with grilled Caesar, and it comes with little pieces of toast. And the salad was good. I like a lightly dressed salad, and it's real good. And the salad actually comes warm because it's grilled. Like the romaine, it comes with usually, if you don't order it the way I do, I order it chopped, but it usually comes basically in a I don't even know what they call it. Whole leaf. A couple of whole leaves of romaine with
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you can tell how it's been grilled. It's got the grill.
I would have gotten it chopped too.
Yeah, and, honestly, if you don't get it chopped, it's hard to eat.
Yeah. Well, and it also, like you said, if you like it lightly coated, yours was.
Yeah.
You could tell there was something on there, but it was not.
Right,
drowning.
it wasn't, but it was super good. Amy, what's your favorite thing to eat at the station?
Well, I had that same salad last Thursday.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I like it warm. I like
it warm.
Stuff. Yeah.
The cheese. The chicken was like juicy and grilled, and it wasn't dry. Yeah, it was really good.
I agree with that.
There's a sandwich there that I've gotten 2 or 3 times, and I don't know the name of it, but it's the chicken polo, something like that, and it's got prosciutto. No, it's got prosciutto. There we go.
Yes.
And arugula and something else on it. And I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah, the sandwiches there, they have all kinds of burgers and everything. And you can substitute burger for chicken and all that good stuff. So they're very accommodating on that end.
Yeah. And usually when I've gone there for lunch, I've gotten I think it's fire and smoke burger.
Right.
And I love that thing.
Yeah, they got a fire and smoke pizza too.
Which I just noticed today, and I was impressed. I was so close to getting that, but I said I need to kind of go venture out a little bit from my usual. But I will always get behind the fire and smoke over there too. So it's not that I won't go back to this restaurant. I just
right. You still not going to get the coupon.
Yeah, it's just not on the list.
That's fine. So, Olde Hickory Station. What do you? What? I mean, let's give it a rate. Let's rate it. What do we got?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. That's a solid score.
It's a solid score. First, it's ambiance. I love, and that's not even taken into effect. I love going in there and grabbing. We have people coming over. We're going to do a meat and cheese tray for an appetite. Like you can go there get stuff that you can't get at grocery store.
Grab a 6-pack out of the cooler and roll.
Get local Hickory beer,
right? And
just this is not my score is not even taking into account the overall place in itself. Right. But it's a good atmosphere. Yeah. It's a great looking place. The food, the staff, everything. I mean, it was an 8 out of 10, which I think speaks volumes.
Yeah, for sure.
Even walking out of there today.
Yeah, if you had to break it down, ambiance and then food, the ambiance is just out. I mean, that place. If you've never been in there, they've paid attention to detail like no other in there. And for that, you got to rate that higher just because of the atmosphere. On my scale, I'm going to give it a solid 5.9 out of 7.
Oh, now you're going odd points too.
Why wouldn't you?
5.9.
Are you going to do the math for us?
Yeah, of course.
So while you're doing
I got to pull out my calculator for you.
Right, for sure. So if you want to go and visit the Olde Hickory Station, it's located in downtown Hickory, of course. The address is 232 Government Avenue Southwest, Hickory, 28602. You can check out the menus and all that good stuff at the Olde Hickory Station. I'm sorry, oldhickorystation.com. There's no "the" there. But yeah, proprietors are the same folks that own OHB, and they do a great job.
Amos Howard's.
All that. Yeah.
So to normal people, your score was an 8.4.
There you go. A little bit better than what I gave you, where you gave it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And they just lost a couple of, decimal points for today.
It happens.
I'm going back.
Give
trust me.
10. 7 out of 7.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And actually, I don't because where's perfect?
That's
so.
right. There's some that are.
The station is great. If you haven't been there and you're from Hickory, I'm surprised because everybody's been there, but you need to put that on the calendar and head out there and support that place
for sure
and enjoy lunch or dinner. I've been there for plenty of dinners as well. A totally different menu, much more expansive, and it's good.
And they also are super involved in the Hickory downtown, and they do cool stuff like this. It's called the Wagaween. It's the Dog Social. It's a benefit for the Humane Society of Catawba County. And that is October the 19th, 1 to 4. So go check that out. You can catch that on CatawbaHumane.org as well. I think that's it.
I think so.
You think so? Amy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We'd like to thank our guest, Miss Amy Ogle, who is the new executive director of the Hickory Downtown Development Association. Mr. McNally, thank you for joining me again.
I wish I could say that. Well, you promise? No, as always, it was great. It's been a while. I feel like we haven't.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't seen you in a few weeks. I missed the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe you missed it. For all our listeners out there who might listen to this, didn't listen to the last one. McNally did not join us last time, but
Now you might get an uptick in listens from that last one if they know that I wasn't on there.
We did the great chicken sandwich debate, and you have to.
What was your vote again?
Bojangles all day.
All day.
North Carolina, true and true. So, but yeah, we'd like to thank all our listeners for tuning in today. Be sure to check out all of our other shows on themesh.tv or other podcast listening platforms that you prefer. We're on just about all of them: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Play, YouTube. We're doing some video podcasts now with Fried Pod with John Reap, and The Big Fan is now on video as well. So go check that out. Subscribe, review, rate, comment, share, everything you could do. And if you would like to sponsor our podcast, please let us know. You can go to info@themesh.tv and send us an email, and we'll send you some information. I think there's also information on the website too. So for Michael McNally and Amy Ogle, say goodbye.
Love where you live.
See you bye, Hickory Nuts.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.